ששון, חביב כבתישון, ברוב הצלחה, שבת, שבת מנוחה, שבת, שבת מנוחה. ישחה קיווינו ידיר אדירים, בן דוד מלכנו שלח נא לעברים, ויקרא אל הדרורים רווח והנחה, שבת, שבת מנוחה, שבת, שבת מנוחה. אנא עליון נורא ביטננו, פדנו במהרה, חננו חננו, שמח נפשנו באור ושמחה, שבת, שבת מנוחה, שבת, שבת מנוחה. חדש מקדשנו זכרה נחרבת, טובך מושיענו תנעלה נצבת, בשבת יושבת בזמר ושבחה, שבת, שבת מנוחה, שבת, שבת מנוחה. זכרו קדוש לנו בזכות יקרת היום, שמור נא אותנו ביום הזה ובכל יום, דודי צח והיום תביא רווחה, שבת, שבת מנוחה, שבת, שבת מנוחה. רינה וישועה לישראל השמיע, בבוא חזיון תשוע, צור מצמיח ישועה, אור שמשי הופיע, תמיד הזריחה, שבת, שבת מנוחה.
7:30?
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So, welcome. I'm Karma, and on the bima with me tonight is Jory Gwazdoff and Steve Schermerhorn, and we have the honor of leading services in Rabbi and Lindy's absence. We are so glad that you're here in person. We're so glad that you are joining us from home. And I wanted to start this evening with a little conversation about prayer. In the Jewish world, there are two different levels of prayer. There's keva, which is the fixed words, the words that we have in our Siddur, in our prayer book. But then there is also kavanah. And kavanah is the prayers that come from your heart, the prayers that come from your soul. And the way Jewish prayer is structured, the keva, the words on the page, are supposed to help lead us to kavanah. So let's say we're doing a prayer about peace, and I've had an argument with my daughter earlier in the day. The words "Oseh Shalom" might be coming out of my mouth, but in my heart and my soul, I'm thinking about that argument with my daughter, and really, is it so awful that she has purple hair? I don't know. Yeah. So there are different things that we do within the framework of the service to help encourage that kavanah experience. We have choreography, we have when we rock back and forth, that helps to induce kind of a little bit more meditative state, or we close our eyes, or we bow. Kavanah can also be increased through silence. And it is often increased through music. So tonight, Jory is going to teach us a new version of Oseh Shalom, a prayer for peace. And we are going to learn it now so that when it comes during the keva, during the fixed part of our service, hopefully we'll be able to reach for a little kavanah at that moment because we'll already be familiar with it. So Jory, take her away.
So the good thing about this version is that it already is a repeat after me version. So you're going to repeat after me.
And I'm going to interrupt for just a minute, but if you're a compulsive reader like me, the words for Oseh Shalom are on page 19 in our Siddur.
So repeat after me. Oseh Shalom, Oseh Shalom, Bimroma, Bimroma, Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu, Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imeru, 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 Amen. Do that part together. So we'll do it right now. Amen. Again. Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom,
Bimromav.
Bimroma,
Ya'aseh Shalom.
Ya'aseh Shalom,
Aleinu.
Aleinu,
Ve'al Kol Yisrael.
Ve'al Kol Yisrael,
Ve'imeru.
Ve'imeru,
Ve'imeru.
Ve'imeru.
All together. Amen. Very nice.
Oh, thank you, Jory. Each week we take a few moments to create a Kehillah Kedosha, a holy community, by connecting with one another, whether we're doing it virtually online or here in person. So please, take a minute to wish your friends Shabbat Shalom in the chat, or if in the sanctuary, to get up, say hello, give each other a nice Shabbat Shalom hug. It's a nice melody.
There's English that goes.
Let's go ahead.
We will welcome Shabbat on page 4, song number 13. My Yafeh Hayom, how beautiful is this day, Shabbos.
Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
honor to welcome Debbie Hopman to the Bema to light Shabbos candles in memory of her uncle, Harold Simon.
Try again. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shel Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom, Debbie. Yasher
Shabbat
Koach.
shalom. We continue on page 9. We rise physically or spiritually for the call to worship. We close our eyes to help enhance that moment of kavanah. It allows us to focus inward. And tonight, we are also going to focus on our breath as we do the Shema. So before each word, we'll take a nice deep breath, and then we'll hold each word out a little longer than we usually do. And as we're doing the Shema, we can think about the themes of connectivity, the themes of unity, or an interesting Hebrew tidbit. The word for breath is nishama. The word for soul is nishama. Shema.
Le'olam Vaed.
Please be seated. We continue on page 10 with chanting of the Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha ve'shinantam levanecha ve'dibartam bam ve'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha uv'kshartam le'ot al yadecha ve'hayu letotafot be'eineinecha uv'taftam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'lohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hoseiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
We read together at the top of page 11.
Standing at the water's edge, the sea spray on your cheek, close your eyes and feel within the beat of freedom's drum. Listen closely on the breeze. Do you hear the music of the ages? O God, you beat the drum. You are the song. You are the wonder in each of us. With joy and awe, we sing to you this song of freedom.
Page 12 with Hashki Venu. Shelter us.
Hashivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom, leShalom, ve'ha'amideinu makeinu le'chayim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha.
Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us daily wrong from right, O Adonai. Amen. 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 Keep us safe throughout the night, until we wake with morning's light. Teach us daily wrong from right, O Adonai. Amen. Amen.
At the bottom of page 13, we rise physically or spiritually for the Amidah.
Adonai, Sefatai Tifta,
Ufia Gitehilatecha. Eternal God, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai,
Eloheinu,
Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Hasevot ve'imavot, U'levi Geula livnei b'neihem, Lema'an Shemo be'ahava. Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Be'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol, Atah Rav le'Hoshia, Mechapel Chaim be'chesed, Mechayeh hakol be'rachamim rabim, Somech noflim be'rofech holim, Umatir asurim, Umekayeh emunato, Lishenei afar, Mihamochai ba'al gevurot, Umidomelach, Melech memit, Umechayeh, Umasmiach Yeshua, V'ne'emanata lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shim hakadosh, U'kadoshim b'chol yom, Yehalelu v'asela, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. And we will continue on the middle of page 15.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu,
בעמך ישראל, ותפילתם באהבה תקבל, ותהי לרצון תמיד עבודת ישראל עמך. ברוך אתה אדוני, שאותך לבדך ביראה נעבוד. Be gracious, O Lord our God, to your people Israel, and receive our prayers with love. May our worship always be acceptable to you. Modim anachnu lach, she'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu, ve'imotenu, le'olam va'ed. Sur chayenu, magen yishenu, ata hu ledor vador. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. And we take a few moments for silent meditation for the prayers of our hearts. And if you are looking for a little inspiration, we have some beautiful readings on page 17 and on page 18 and 19. There are lyrics to beautiful pieces that come from our sacred literature that also hold beautiful and wonderful ideas and themes upon which to meditate.
Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom.
Bimromav, Bimromav, Huyaseh Shalom.
Huyaseh Shalom.
Aleinu,
Aleinu.
Ve'al Kol Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
This evening, I'm hoping to invite us to consider the importance of the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote in all the states in the United States. That took place in 2019. I also am hoping that we'll spend a little bit of time thinking a little bit about some somewhat local Jewish history. And to do that, I'm going to give you a message here that I've adapted from Rabbi Carol Balin, PhD. And this is called Like Her Namesake, Miriam Mickelson in the Feminist Wilderness. In 1905, the Washington Post wrote that suffragist Miriam Mickelson was a California Jewess who had succeeded with her pen. Not only did Miriam Mickelson write articles on gender equality for San Francisco's major daily newspapers and popular magazines such as the Saturday Evening Post, but she was also a best-selling novelist. Her 1912 feminist utopian novella that was precociously titled The Superwoman was about an imagined matriarchal society in which women wield power over men, and it preceded the DC Comics character of the same name by 31 years. Yet, like her biblical namesake Miriam, whose death is mentioned in our double Torah portion this week, Miriam Mickelson's contributions have been largely eclipsed by those accomplishments of her brothers. She has appeared, but only at most as a footnote in the biographies of her male siblings. Historians proudly note that her oldest brother, Professor Albert Mickelson, a physicist known for his work on measuring the speed of light, was the first American to receive the Nobel Prize in a hard science, in 1907. But Miriam didn't even receive a mention when the Bonanza television show in 1962 had an episode that features her brother's boyhood when he was confronted with anti-Semitism. Historians also recognize that her younger brother was the first publicity director for the Democratic National Committee back in the 1940s. Up until 2019, Miriam Mickelson's name was largely forgotten. It is Dr. Lori Harrison Kahan who began to change this with her edited collection of Mickelson's writings, just in time for the centennial anniversary of the 19th Amendment 4 years ago. So now, in this week's Torah portion, we have the biblical Miriam. She receives far more attention than any of the handful of female characters that are mentioned in Torah. We're in the book of Numbers right now, and there are a tally of 603,500 men. Did you know, though, that women make up just 1/10,000th of 1% of the total number of Israelites mentioned in the book of Numbers? And also that most persons in the Torah, men or women, do not merit any kind of obituary whatsoever. This makes it so noteworthy that Miriam's death is mentioned in this week's Parsha. As it is written, the Israelites arrived at the wilderness of Zin on the first new moon, and the people stayed at Kadesh. Miriam died there and was buried there. The Torah text is silent about what the communal response was, but later commentators describe how Miriam's death plunged everyone into deep mourning. Moses wept for at least 6 hours straight. He was oblivious to the fact that his people were out of water. Rashi tells us this is a consequence of Miriam's death. Her name itself has the word mayim, or water, embedded within. When Miriam dies, the well has run dry. That she is buried at Kadesh, sacred in English, this is further proof of the sanctity of Miriam in Jewish memory. It's been said that, quote, Miriam's gift was to help women recognize and claim their sacred place. Like her biblical namesake, Miriam Mickelson influenced how women could come to recognize and claim their place in early 20th century America. Mickelson was born in 1870 in a mining town called Murphy's Camp, over here in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains, and really not too far from where we're gathered right now. I do have to note that Murphy's Camp, before the European invasion, was a Miwok village, It wasn't until 1935 that the name was changed to the current name of just Murphy's. Miriam was the seventh of 8 children of Polish Jewish immigrants. Her parents' names were Samuel and Rosalie. The family moved not long after she was born to Virginia City, Nevada. Her parents sold mining supplies. By her early 20s, Miriam Mickelson launched a career in journalism. She broke gender barriers by covering crime and politics rather than stories on the so-called women's page. By 1895, she had become an outspoken advocate for women's suffrage. She wrote and spoke publicly on the topic regularly. By 1900, she became a successful novelist. One of these novels, by the way, was made into a feature film that starred Mary Pickford. Unfortunately, that early silent film is lost, so we can't watch it anymore. On June 30th, 1911, same date as we are right now, but back in 1911, Miriam spoke in San Francisco. She addressed a crowd of more than 300 at the annual meeting of the College Equal Suffrage League. The league was established to encourage female students to engage in political activism. In her speech, which was titled "The Reproach of Unladylike Behavior," Mickelson traced with irony the history of the practices of real ladyhood, which serve to disfigure our bodies and hobble our brains. She argued that a new day had dawned. Quote, "Now it is most ladylike to stand up and face things as they are and accept them like a man." It was 4 months after that, in October 1911, when California voters passed Proposition 4, which made our state the 6th state to grant women the right to vote. Later, in 1934, Miriam published a book that I do want to read. It sounds like it's great. It's called The Wonder Lode of Silver and Gold. It is at Lodi Public Library, by the way. I checked today. Not so sure about Stockton. But this Wonder Lode book is a collection of Sierra Nevada history. And it may have been that this book was actually an inspiration for parts of that Bonanza television show that I mentioned earlier. Miriam lived until 1924. Her work was scorned by the critic H.L. Mencken. Her work was dismissed in the academy and never really got serious academic study. And, like her biblical counterpart, Miriam Mickelson never relied on a man. She chose not to marry nor to have children. Mickelson's also on record as saying she never received a Jewish education and that her parents were not religious. Yet, according to her biographer, Dr. Kahan, who I mentioned earlier, Mickelson's Jewishness, quote, definitely shaped the way in which she regularly gave voice to the underrepresented in society, including women fighting for the right to vote. When you look at her career, there is no question that being Jewish shaped how she saw the world. In closing, please consider these questions. Who will be the next Miriam to be recorded for the ages? And how will our voices resonate into the years ahead to ensure that we all have an opportunity to be counted?
Yasha Koach.
Yasha Koach.
Wow, thank you, Steve. It was beautiful.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Really enjoyed it. So, we will move on to Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for reading Torah. Well, we will read about Miriam this evening. Those who are able, please rise, and I would like to invite Stacy Sims onto the bima for the honor of carrying the Torah this evening. Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, u'davar Adonai mirushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, le'almo Yisrael. Beit Yaakov lechu v'necha be'or Adonai. O house of Jacob, come, let us walk by the light of our God.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Lecha Adonai
Hagedula v'hagevura v'hatiferet v'hanetzach v'hachol ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz lecha Adonai l'malacha ve'amina haseh lechol lerosh.
Ashlosha Devarim, Ashlosha Devarim, Ashlosha Devarim, Haolam, Haolam, Omer. Ashlosha Devarim, Ashlosha Devarim, Ashlosha Devarim, Haolam, Haolam, Omer. Al HaTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al HaTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim.
Yashar Koach, thank you so very much. Please be seated. And as I said earlier, we are going to read the section from this evening's portion that references Miriam in the wilderness of Zin. And as Steve said, she dies and is buried in the city of Kadesh. Now, Kadesh, I think maybe it'll sound a little familiar if you think of Kadosh, or Kaddish, or Kedusha, or Kiddush. All of those words, as Steve said, have something to do with sacredness and holiness. And the wilderness of Zin that is mentioned in tonight's portion, scholars believe is now located in what is now called the Negev in the modern state of Israel. And I know that those of us that have had the honor to go to Israel know that it is most definitely a holy place, an extraordinary place, a unique place. So I would like to invite anyone who has had the opportunity to be in the land of Israel to come and join us for tonight's Aliyah. And we're going to all squish in and get comfy cozy, pretend like we know each other. And some of us are just back from Israel this week. So glad to have you home safely. Oh, look at this. Isn't our congregation amazing? Wow. Hey, if you had not had the chance yet, definitely put it on your bucket list. It's a wonderful and amazing thing to be in the land of Israel. Are we ready? Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Ha'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu mikol ha'amim, ve'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Vayavou b'nei Yisrael kol ha'edah midbar tzin b'chodesh harishon vayashev ha'am b'kadesh v'tamat sham Miriam vatikaver sham
Velo hayamayim la'eda vayikahalu al Moshe ve'al Aharon. Vayarev ha'am im Moshe vayomru lemor velu gavanu bigva'achenu lifnei Adonai. Velama hevetem et kehal Adonai el hamidbar hazeh lamut sham anachnu uvirenu. Velama he'elitunu mimitzrayim lehavi otanu el hamakom hara hazeh lo mekom zera ut enav gefen verimon umayim ayin lishtot vayavo Moshe ve'Aharon mipnei hakahal el petach ohel moed vayiplu al pneihem vayerach evod Adonai aleihem.
Asher Koach.
Baruch to you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Yasher Koach. And may we all be able to go again. And thank you, Jory, for being our gabbai, the person whose job it is to help the Torah reader. I know some people think, oh, it must be really embarrassing if somebody corrects you or you make a mistake and you have to stop. In many congregations, if you make a mistake while reading Torah, people in the congregation will actually yell out the correction, and it is not an embarrassment. It is a gift that they are giving you, because when we read Torah, we're reading the words of the law, and we want to be accurate. We want to get it just right. So thank you, Jory.
You're welcome.
Yeah, kudos. Each week, in the presence of our Torah, we offer prayers for healing for our family and friends. To our friends at home, if you have loved ones who are in need of healing, please share their names in the chat now so that they may be included in our prayers. As a community, this week, we are praying for Christina Vogel, Matt Mailhote, Raquel Lipkin, Ann Porteous, Diane Dakin, Randy Watkins, Gabby Lopez-Smith, Victor Altman, Samantha Porteous, John Kaplan, Barry Klein, Ellen Clore, Brooke Hall, Cremilda Tomez, Charlene Gross, Vicki Lindner, Chan Fong, Joseph Mayer, Leslie Hirschfield, Judith Platt, Sandra Dutcher, Jacob Tannenbaum, Barbara Nachman, Michael Sheets, Jay Bird, Liam Ledesma, Michael Hall, and Saul Gold.
And if there are any names of family members or friends, so for those of us here, please share their names aloud at this point in time.
our friends at home are thinking this evening of Lisa Rampolla, Diane Short, Don Cordano, Margot Hanscom, Vivian Kahn, and Cindy McClurg. Jaden and Bryson Bartram as well. And the words to the Mishaberach can be found on page 23.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We continue. Okay. And we'll add all those names mentioned aloud, all of us here who are in need of these same prayers for refuah hanefesh and refuah haguf, healing of mind and body and spirit. Baruch atah Adonai, rofei hacholim, blessed are you Adonai, healer of the sick.
Amen.
Amen. We continue with a prayer for our country and the state of Israel.
Guardian of life and liberty,
Grant blessings to our country. Grant our leaders patience and wisdom. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and may we never be lazy in the work of peace. Eternal God, grant blessings to the state of Israel. Protect her people, shelter them with peace, and grant them deliverance from the violence that surrounds them. May they live in harmony with one another and with their neighbors.
May the bonds of faith
And faith that unite the Jews of all lands be a source of strength and blessing to each of us
and
and
to
all the world. And let us say, Amen.
Those who are able, please rise for Hagba.
Vezot HaTorah Asher Zal Moshe Lifnei B'nei Yisrael Adi Adonai Beyad Moshe Ki lekach Torati lahem Torati al ta'azofu Eitz chayim hi lamachazikim ba V'tosecha me'ushar Deracheha Darchei Noam Bechol Tzivoisecha Shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha
Yameinu, Kadesh Yameinu, Kekedem.
Please remain standing, page 25, for the Aleinu.
Aleinu v'shapeach ladon hakol, latekilu la'alel seher breshit, shelo asanu kiryei haratzot, v'go samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam kelkenu kahem, v'go aleinu kehol hamonam. V'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamachim hakadosh baruch hu v'nehemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu. Bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
Please be seated. At the conclusion of each service, we remember our loved ones who are no longer with us physically, but who, through the gift of memory, live on in our hearts. To our friends at home, if you are in the 30-day period of mourning or in the first year of mourning, please share your loved one's name in the chat so that we may bring their memory into this holy space. And for those of us here, if you are in the Shloshim, the 30-day period, or the Shana, the first year, I invite you to stand and share your loved one's name with us. And we remember these loved ones who have a yortzeit, the anniversary of their passing in the week ahead. If I read your loved one's name, please stand so that we may recognize you. We remember with love Harold Simon, Milo Berenson, Ann Kolber, Evan Stein, Barbara English, Magda Biro, Bertha Klein, Joseph Tannenbaum, Audrey Freeman, Jean Sievers, Dorothea Spencer, Irving Dubin, Bernice Fine, Ruthie Corin, Louis Horwitz, Joseph Grayson, Max Landau, Elsa Tau, Morris Lazarus, and Charlotte Suskin. This week, we also remember Dora Lee Saxon, Lisa Bartram, Eric Friedman, and Craig Corin. Is there anyone else who is observing Yortzeit this evening? So as we do each week, we also remember the 6 million who perished in the Holocaust, many leaving no one to say Kaddish for them. We take them into our hearts with our own as we stand in solidarity with the mourners and recite Mourner's Kaddish, page 26. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yoteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayachon v'yomechon, uv'chayei t'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'galav v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam l'mei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudusha b'richu, le'elal min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran de'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah mim shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mirumav, huyaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all those who mourn,
and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated. And I think I need to send out an apology to Hillard and Marianne. We have a little bit of a lag on the chat this evening. Dora Lee Saxon, Lisa Bartram, prayers for healing going out to you. And we have a few announcements. So our member of our board of directors, Stacy Sims, is going to share them with us this evening. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbos.
First, we'd like to thank Steve and Jory
I
and
didn't do anything.
Karma for leading services tonight. And thank you to Ari for connecting us with our friends who are celebrating Shabbat at home. Get connected to or start a special interest group. Boating on the Delta, bocce ball, bunco, and hiking are all forming now. Reach out to Steve Jacobs and he'll connect you to any or all of these groups. He can also help you start a group of your own. Movies, camping, bridge, board games. We're guessing that whatever it is you like to do, you can find friends at Temple who want to do it with you. You can email Steve at tistevejacobs@gmail.com. Next Shabbat, services will be led by Steve Schermerhorn, Jory Gwozdoff, and Karma. Come on out or tune in to YouTube to support them. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. I've lost my binder. There we are. So, I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
As we end our service, we invite everyone to come out of their seats, gather near the bima for a closing prayer, Od Yavo. Very peaceful song.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'ad Olam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'ad Olam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam.
Now let's fly. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'ad Olam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'ad Olam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Isn't it amazing how the same words can make you feel so many different emotions? Kavanah at its best. Who's celebrating a happy occasion this evening? Birthday? Anniversary? Yeah? Oh, I thought maybe you had one, Steve. So, we're doing it tonight. So, celebrating the hot weather. I like it hot, so, I'm good with that. Some Like It Hot, excellent movie. And random thought, Donna Baker, right here in the front. If you're interested in bunco, connect with Donna tonight. Okay, so let's all celebrate being alive with our cup of joy. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. And challah, fresh from the home of Steve and Marianne, or tonight I want to say Miriam Schermerhorn. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Let's all turn around, wish our friends at home a Shabbat Shalom Echad, Shtayim, Shalosh. Shabbat Shalom! Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לה 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 לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתהילה. לה 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 לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לה 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 לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה, קומי צאי מתוך ההפכה, רב לך שבט בעמק הבכה, והוא יחמול עלייכם. לה 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 לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לה 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 לך דודי, לקראת קלה,